guys are ready, go for it.
Favorite gangster films? Do you have one?
You go first.
You go first.
You go first.
I
have one. You want me to go first?
Probably say Mean Streets, honestly. I love Mean Streets.
Yeah, for me it's Raging Bull. It's not. I guess it's not really a gangster film, but the mob is a big catalyst in the story, and to me, it's like feels like the most accurate depiction of the mob. And then apart from that, it's just like I think De Niro's performance in it is the greatest film performance of all time.
Yeah, you guys are big Scorsese fans, I can tell. So a lot of people.
I don't think we're alone.
A lot of people say that there hasn't been a great gangster film in theaters in nearly 20 years since American Gangster, and I would have to say that we have a contender this year, 2021, with the Many Saints of Newark, and we're honored and privileged to be with two of the stars of the film, Alessandro Nivola and Michael Gandolfini.
When I was a kid, guys like me were brought up to follow codes.
Hey, jerk off. What'd you say? What?
Antonio Soprano.
I wonder if I can talk to you alone for a moment, Mrs. Soprano. On the basis of the Sanford Binet, he's high IQ.
You can't prove it by me. He's got a D+ average.
Well, he doesn't apply himself, but he is smart. The results tell us. He's a leader.
Uncle Dick.
Growing up with the family takes a toll.
Maybe an ambassador to England or France.
You're my nephew.
Might like to gamble.
I want to do whatever I can to help you.
You may be a businessman.
My gift to you.
Degree thief.
I want to go to college. I can't get caught with shit like this.
Look, you take the speakers, right? At the same time, you say to yourself, this is the last time I'm ever going to steal something.
Welcome to Reelblack TV.
Hey, thanks for having
Yeah,
us.
thank you very
I'm
much.
excited about this. I really enjoyed the film. Michael, it seems like, reading the press notes, it seems like you're both born to play this role. But Michael, you literally were born to play this role. What's it like stepping into your father's footsteps, literally, and then now the piece is done, how do you both feel about the finished product?
You know, when I was filming it, it really sort of wasn't on my mind. I think if I thought about it too much, I would have been a little overwhelmed. So I sort of had put it aside and sort of studied Tony like a historical figure or someone where I had these hours of tape. But when I had watched the movie for the first time, I remember thinking and just feeling like, wow, this was really special. I'm just so happy I got to do this with my dad. You know, he was
You
such
felt
a
a spirit.
Yeah, I really felt, I obviously couldn't, have done it without him, and I felt that sort of connection while watching it, and just was so proud and sort of felt that. And I would say, like, being proud is sort of how I felt also watching it. I feel really proud of myself and of all the actors in this thing, and I'm proud of the movie. I remember, as a 20-year-old actor, I'm 22 now, but when I did it, I was 20, getting to work with Leslie and Alessandro and John and Vera, like these incredible actors. Like, it just was one of the greatest gifts. That's how I felt.
Well,
I mean, the movie's it's kind of like a Trojan horse. I feel in that it was a kind of old-fashioned crime drama that they made a lot of in the 70s and 80s, and that studios just don't make anymore. They make Marvel movies. They don't make things at this budget that are designed like this. And it was only because of the success of the series and the sort of name value of The Sopranos that allowed this movie to be made and kind of like snuck in inside the form of something else. And so I feel very lucky to have been able to be in a movie of this kind that was made in the studios, and in a way, it was almost like stepping back in time. Forget about the period of the movie, but just the kind of filmmaking that it was.
It has all the elements of the classic gangster films, betrayal, loyalty, family. This one's a little different because it also deals with the uprising and the incorporation of the Moulin. Can you talk about working with Leslie Odom in this film?
Yeah, well, Leslie and I were are both theater actors, and we both kind of came up through Broadway, and so we had that in common, and then I really felt like his character was, David had designed as the kind of counterbalance to Dickie in the movie, and he is such a kind of powerful presence that he really managed to step into that in a way that had a less intense actor taken on the role. It might have felt imbalanced, but no, certainly the riots and the whole shift of the demographic in that neighborhood at that time is really, the catalyst that drove this white flight of the Italian Americans in North Newark out into the suburbs, which is where you find them in the series. And so that was kind of fascinating, especially the more research that I had done about it, where there were these big public housing units that were built in there in the 50s that were filled almost exclusively with black people at that time. And it just ended up sparking off this kind of race war between the blacks and the Italians, which is just something that sadly, after we had filmed these scenes, looked almost identical on television a year later. And it's a really unfortunate side of our immigrant history, the way that different populations of immigrants or people who were brought here against their will, were sort of clawing at each other for, trying to differentiate themselves from each other in order to be, closer to the establishment. So that's something that the movie definitely grapples with and addresses.
No, it's very operatic. It has that vibe of those Scorsese films and all the sort of crime dramas that you speak of from the 70s, and I can't wait for people to have a chance to see it either on the big screen or on the HBO Max October 1st. Yeah. So I really appreciate you taking the time out to be with me.
Hey, pleasure.
Thank you so
nice
much.
to talk to
And
you
congratulations.
too.
Yeah, thank you very much.
As far as your nephew goes,
I'm listening.
stay out of his life.